Good day, my dear classmates and Dr. Ancho. Today, I'll be discussing to you a crucial topic about globalization and the contemporary world. But before anything else, my dear teachers, my dear classmates, let's have an activity. This activity will be called Chus Ko Po. Okay? So, gagawin lang po natin if ever, no? You can try this in your with your students also. Thumbs up or heart react lang po kayo kung ano yung gusto ninyo. Okay? First one, an Apple iPhone 17 Pro Max fully paid or my phone, no? Yung nagdarasal pa. Okay. Thumbs up or heart react. How about this one? Starbucks, no? Venti, tas Big Brew. Like or heart? And lastly, how about this one? Toblerone or Chacomucho? So, my dear classmates, if we're going to try this one to children, to our students, what do you think they will choose? Would they choose the like ones, the Filipino made products, or the foreign made products? Because today, we're going to discuss about the idea of globalization in the contemporary world. Ano nga ba ang pamantayan ng mundo? Ito ba ay pantay? Ito ba ay may pagkukulang? O sadyang hindi lang ito nakikita? So for our learning map, you are expected to what first? You are expected to, we are expected to discuss the effects of globalization, positive and negative effects of it, the idea of globalization and inequality, global issues and challenges, including climate change, migration, pandemics, digital divide. Of course, we will contextualize this to the Philippine context and what's the future of globalization. As we discuss this topic, I want you to focus on the question or in answering the question why globalization matters today and its real world implication and what's the implication of globalization. Our objectives is for us to explain the major effects of globalization in the contemporary world, the negatives, the downsides, the positive ones. Next, analyze how globalization contributes to global inequality and contemporary issues such as climate change, migration, and such. And lastly, is to evaluate the significance of globalization in the Philippine context for future references and implications. So without further ado, let's start our discussion. Last time, my group mates also discuss what the background of globalization, how it started, what are the premises of globalization. So let us just recall, according to Anthony Giddens in his book, The Consequences of Modernity in 1990s. According to Anthony Giddens, globalization means growing interdependence. When we say interdependence, inter means loob. We are connected to two or more state, countries, economies, differs from us. Likewise, I would like to highlight borderless because we tend to experience the culture of other countries through globalization. This occurs through intensified relationships and interaction across local and global scales. I am a teacher of the contemporary world. That's why this topic is very not basic, but the foundation of the contemporary world today. And every time I ask my students, what are the things they usually do? What are the things they usually try? They will, most of them, well, will say that Japanese culture, Korean culture, and other culture products. And I asked them, nakapunta na ba kayo dun sa bansa na yan? Hindi pa naman daw. And that is globalization. We tend to experience the product. We tend to experience the culture of a certain country because the world's borderless. That's the promise of globalization. And now, what are the effects of it? Of course, trade liberalization. It increases cross-border movement of goods, services, people, and ideas, removing tariffs and trade barriers for free flow of goods. That's a promise of trade liberalization. Okay? To promote international trade by allowing commodities and services to move freely between countries. So, if you notice, my dear classmates, ito yung ipinapangako sa atin ng globalisasyon. Pinapakita nito na mahalaga, maganda, na nakikita natin ano ba ang mga epekto nito. Ang maganda, ang pangako, at ano yung nangyayari. Next. Dealing with the idea of the impact of globalization, what are the positive impact of it? First, expanded economic opportunities in global markets. Ito yung unang-una kong sinabi na napapalawak ng isang bansa ang kanyang ekonomiya sa pamamagitan ng pagbubukas nito ng kanyang merkado sa buong mundo. Likewise, innovation and technology. That's the promise of globalization for our lives to make it easier. Technology will help us. Gadgets, internet will help us to increase our productivity. Likewise, the increased access of information and education. The things we've studied, the things we've teach are product of globalized education. The ideals, the premises of other countries are integrated to our curriculum. And lastly, cultural exchange. Just like what I've told you, we tend to experience the culture of others, even if we are not experiencing it, or we are not able to go to their country. Next. How about the negative impact of globalization? You know, job displacement. Daming nawawala ng trabaho. Why? Because of automation. You know what? According to statistics, over 14 million jobs worldwide have been directly displaced by AI. And that's very crucial. 14 million as of early 2025 last year has been displaced or have been displaced directly. Next, cultural homogenization. We tend to lose who we are, our right path. Hindi na natin kilala kung sino tayo. Exploitation of labor in developing countries and increased economic vulnerability. You know what? There are about 28 million people are in forced labor. 28 million na katao na pipilitang magtrabaho. Why? Because of the exploitation in labor. Because they want to generate income that will help their country. Next, globalization and inequality. Nakalagay dito, ang pamantayang hindi pantay. Because you know what? When it comes to globalization and inequality, globalization, as the promise of globalization goes, very fantasizing, very ideal, very beautiful, promising. There are lots, or it produces inequality. Unequal distribution of benefits among countries. The gap between rich and poor. No, income inequality in the world is so high, rising above 60%, no, of low and middle income countries. That's the concern. And alam nyo, 1%, no, ng isang populasyon o 1% ng buong populasyon ng mundo, yun lang yung mayaman. Around 95% nagdurusa sa kahirapan. Concentration of wealth among multinational corporations and marginalization of developing and least developed countries. Imagine 60% of low-income countries are on the brink of a debt crisis. Baon sa utang, ang halos 60% ng mga bansa sa buong mundo. So baka hindi nga pantay ang pamantayan ng mundo. Ngayon, tingnan natin, what are the challenges of globalization to us? First one is climate change. Lagi kong sinasabi, as we strive for development, as we strive for improvement, we sacrifice the important things that we have. Because of industrial globalization, it contributed to the increased carbon emission of the world. Climate change impacts cross-national boundaries. You know what? The global carbon dioxide emissions just for fuel fossils only are about 42 billion tons in 2025. Since 1990s, there are about 420 million hectares pinatag just for development, just to expand economies. For instance, plastic generation. Plastic waste generation reached about 353 million tons in 2020. That's why, just like what I've told you, kung gusto nating umunlad, ganun ba talaga? That's the thing I would like to ask from you, my dear teachers. Kapalit ba talaga ng pag-unlad ay ang ating kalikasan? Next, migration in the globalized world. You know what? There are 304 million people living outside their birth country or country of birth. Because of labor migration, around 4% of our population hindi nakatira kung saan sila ipinanganak. Of course, that's determined by push and pull factors of migration. When we say push, ito yung nagtutulak sa'yo para umalis sa bansa mo. Mga hindi magaganda. Sweldo, gobyerno, benepisyo, hindi maganda eh. Push factor, ads ka. Pull factor, ito na may hihila sa'yo. Mga magagandang benefits. Okay? Mga magagandang serbisyo mula sa bansang gusto mong papuntahan. So if you notice, there are lots of consequences when it comes to the product of globalization. Next, pandemics. Balikan natin yung COVID-19 pandemic. Dealing with the COVID-19 pandemic, high-income countries representing about 19% of the global adult population, they purchase about more than 50% of the COVID-19 vaccine doses. 19% lang yung population nila. 54%. No? Yung kanilang piniling bakuna. Itanda natin, nag-uunahan sa bakuna noon, sino ba yung mga unang nakatanggap? Mga mayayamang bansa. Makikita natin, napakaliit ng tinatawag nating herd immunity. No, ng herd immunity sa mga mahihirap na bansa. Because pandemics, as inspired, influenced by globalization, also creates inequality. Imagine the vaccines per 100 people for high and low income countries. For high countries or high income generating countries, around 212 doses, no, per 100 people. While to low income generating countries, 34 doses per 100 people. If you notice, there's a huge gap between high and low income countries. Next, let us contextualize this in the Filipino setting. Perhaps OFW, being an OFW is hard. It's too hard to experience being far from your families, from your loved ones. In 2023, there are 2.16 million OFWs. Tumaas pa ito noong 2024, 2.19 million. At ang nangyari dito, di ba, we're familiar with the what do you call this? Brain drain. Kinukuha nila yung mga matatalino, mahuhusay sa ating bansa. But I would also like to introduce to you brawn drain. Brawn drain. Kinukuha nila yung mga lakas paggawa na meron ang ating bansa. Workers. No? Ang ating mga workers. Garbage collector. The blue collar jobs. Hindi lang mga white collar. Likewise, global trade, outsourcing industries. You know what? Ang pinakamalaki na outsourcing revenue, industry revenue ay around 32.5 billion US dollars. 1.57 million according to statistics, to Philippine Statistics Authority, ay nagtatrabaho dito. I'm not saying that that's not good because that still generates income and taxes. But the point here is that they are serving not just the country, but also other people, which perhaps there are lots of options that could align kung ano yung tinapos nila. Likewise, cultural influence and dependencies. You know what? Nung nag-concert ang mga K-pop group dito, for instance, 17, it earned 11.64 million US dollars. Minsan, mas kilala pa ng mga bata, alam pa yung mga sayaw, kanta ng mga Koreano kaysa sa ating mga Pilipino. Ayun yung nakakalungkot. Nalilimutan natin kung sino tayo dahil binibigyan tayo ng pagkakataon ng globalisasyon para makilala natin yung iba. Next, dependence on global markets and foreign investment. You know what? Pinirmahan na Republic Act 11647. Republic Act 11647 allows 100% of FDI or foreign direct investment sa karamihan ng mga sektor. Ibig sabihin, pinapayagan na ang magmamay-ari banyaga, 100%. Hindi ko naman sinabing lahat, hindi rin naman sinabi ng batas na lahat. Pero 100% sa ibang mga sektor at karamihan ng mga sektor, pwede na ang mga banyaga. Para tayong amu-amuhan sa sarili nating bayan. Ano? Now, what are the challenges for the Philippines? First one is the heavy reliance on remittance income. It makes Filipinos household and the broader economy vulnerable to external and shocks. Kapag may nangyari sa ibang bansa, masyado malaki, matindi yung epekto sa atin. Bakit? Nakabatay lang naman tayo sa remittances nila. Nakabatay lang naman tayo sa kung ano yung binibigay nilang padala. Likewise, for middle-income households, they remain vulnerable. Job loss, health emergencies, which could reduce economic stability during global downturns. Likewise, technological advancement and education. The Philippines ranked 63rd out of 65 countries. Pang 63 tayo when it comes to technology, innovation, and advancement in 2023. Dalawa na lang, tayo na kulela. Likewise, Dealing with education, isa sa pinaka-pinoproblema ngayon ay ang sektor ng edukasyon. 1,562 schools experience electricity connection problem. Paano ka naman makapag-aaral kung mainit, walang kuryente, madilim? Ito yung hamon sa atin ng globalisasyon. To intensify and fight inequality, not just in income, not just in economy, but also in technology, especially in education and environment. Next, let's have this case analysis regarding trade liberalization. When Duterte, former President Rodrigo Duterte, was signed the law, Republic Act 11203, or the rice tarification law, which tried to liberalize the rice market by replacing quantitative restrictions with tariffs. Bibigyan na ng tarifa yung mga rice importers, around 35% for ASEAN rice importers. Tapos, yung kikitain daw dun sa taripa na yun, mapupunta sa tinatawag nating RCEP or Rice Competitiveness Enhancement Fund na ibibigay sa mga magsasaka. 10 billion annually para daw mapabuti kalagayan nila, maging advance sila, ma-improve yung productivity nila. We tend to import. Kumbaga, kukuha tayo bigas sa ibang bansa, dadalhin dito, pero magbabayad sila ng tax or tariff. Yung tariff na yun, ibibigay sa mga magsasaka natin. Ang tanong, ano yung problema ng batas na to? Since it removes import restriction, it lowers rice prices and inflation. Ang tanong, kapag nagdala ka rito ng mga foreign products, especially rice, kumita nga tayo sa RCEP, may nailagay tayo sa RCEP. Ang problema, kanina naman ibebenta ng mga magsasaka natin yung kita nila o yung kanilang palay at bigas. Ang problema, mas mura ang imported na bigas kaysa sa local. Pag binaba nila, lugi sila. Pag ipinantay nila na may kita sila, may tubo sila, hindi bibilin. So if you notice, that's the product of globalization, trade liberalization. So sobrang gusto natin ng bukas na pinto, na teritoryo, borderless world country. Napapabayaan natin yung sariling atin. Let's have this another case analysis of Marcos-Trump tariff negotiation din. Because of the idea of Trump, Trump wants to make America great again. Naghigpit siya when it comes to immigration and tariff. Trump imposes 20% tariff to the Philippines. Bigyan tayo 20%. Ngayon, nabahala ang Pilipinas kasi magbabayad pa tayo ng buwis na napakalaki. Nangyari, punta si Bongbong Marcos, President Bongbong Marcos sa Amerika. He tried to negotiate with President Trump. And after the meeting, from 20%, naging 19%. Just a 1% point reduction. Of course, Donald Trump is negosyante sa businessman. Hindi niya papayagan na siya lang yung magbibigay. Of course, that's in exchange for several concessions. Open market, military access, and 0% tariff to some of their products, especially the automobile. So if you notice, parang hindi pantay yung kapalit. For 1%, napakaraming kinuha sa atin. But President Marcos, wala naman siya magagawa eh. Isang core country, superpower country, ang Amerika. And now, dealing with those case analysis, my dear teachers, the question that I would like to ask to you is that, should the Philippines move toward deglobalization? Dapat ba layuan niya? Iwasan niya ang ugnayan, kalakalan sa ibang mga bansa at magtuon tayo sa kung saan tayo magaling, saan tayo malakas at kung ano at sino tayo. Ito yung tanong na maaari nating sagutin. Next, why globalization matters today? Ba't ba mahalaga ang globalization? Local actions have global consequences. No? Mahalaga na nang alam natin kung ano yung nangyayari sa iba't ibang mga bansa. Dahil tayo apektado nito. Halimbawa na lamang yung gera ng Ukraine at Russia. Doon nagsimulang tumaas ang presyo ng langis, gasolina. Likewise, globalization, why it matters today? Global problems require collective solution. Maraming samahang binuo, ASEAN, European Union, NAFTA, no? United Nations to form collective solution. Likewise, to shape opportunities and risks for individuals and nations. Hindi naman lahat kayang bigyan ng trabaho ng gobyerno natin, kaya ang nangyayari, napupunta sa ibang bansa yung ating mga kababayan. Influences identity, citizenship, and responsibility. I hope that globalization will teach us, will lead us to who we are, not get back from where we came from. Now, what's the future of globalization? You know, according to different scholars, the future of globalization will be rampant around 2030. Automation will be rampant. The usage of AI, alam natin yan. Ang gamit ng AI, kumbaga, we cannot escape from it. No one is free from it. Okay? Some sources of my review when I was studying this topic, some sources suggest even large numbers, around 300 million jobs will be displaced because of automation. Pinapadali yung buhay niya, pero ang problema, maraming nawawalan ng trabaho dahil madali na lang lahat ng bagay. This is the consequences also, but this is the future of globalization. Kaya nga ang tanong, sasabay ka ba sa agos, susunod ka ba sa agos, o sasalungatin mo ito? And as we end this discussion, I want you to be reminded of this conclusion. First, globalization is complex. Globalization is vague, magulo, multifaceted, produces both opportunities and challenges. Nakita natin yan mula sa income-generating ideals, cultural influences, political influences, and collectiveness. Likewise, globalization requires critical understanding and responsible participation. Hindi kasi pwedeng maging sunod-sunuran lang tayo sa mga nagmamaneho nito. Hindi pwedeng nakasakay ka lang. Dapat marunong ka rin magmaneho. Marunong ka rin kumabig na hindi ka lang laging pasahero. Essential for addressing contemporary global issues. That's true. Globalization, since it is an open market, borderless world, pati problema ng iba, apektado tayo. Kahit nasa malayo pa sila. And lastly, this is the greatest conclusion I would like to share to you. That globalization, yes, it creates opportunities, but it also deepens inequalities. And lastly, teachers, saan ka dito sa tatlo? Ikaw ba'y rejectionist na ang globalization ay hindi para sa atin? Ikaw ba'y skeptics na ang globalization ay kaduda-duda? No? Na hindi naman talaga tayo globalized world. Ito ay merely driven by geopolitical issues. Ito ay merely driven by political interest. O ikaw yung pangatlo, that we could accept globalization. Bagamat hindi na ito bago, we could modify it. Alin ka sa tatlo? Will you be a rejectionist of globalization, skeptical, or modify it? And finally, that's the end of my presentation. Here are the sources used in this presentation. So, my dear teachers, Doc, thank you very much for listening. Laging tandaan, may biktima ang pag-unlad. Maraming salamat po.